Toxic people equals a toxic you. I wanted a little intro of Britney Spears' Toxic. Shantae said no, so I brought in Michelle. Maybe we could use a toxic intro here.
Hey, everybody.
If you don't know, this is Michelle. We'll get her nickname before you know it. This is your mad scientist, Jim, and we're going to talk about toxicity here. Go ahead, Michelle. Your topic. Just throw you out there on the spot.
Okay. Well, toxic people will wreak havoc on your life, whether they're friends, family, or coworkers, you name it. But you'll have to either learn to adapt and live with it or get rid of them. I learned that the hard way, especially when you're in a slump, when you're in a bad position of your life or in a depression or, something's going on. It's easy to be around miserable people because you're miserable yourself.
Like attracts like.
Exactly. So, and they just, they can just pull you down even further, pull you into habits that you don't want to. Drinking, for instance. Lots of drinking usually goes on with toxic people. And, it pulls you down the rabbit hole.
It does. I remember working in the corporate America jobs, back in the day. And there's always that one person in the office, isn't there? That one person, everything is great, except whenever you encounter that person, you can't really figure it out. They're always cranky. They're moody. They're always asking for the TP reports that, 5 other bosses have just asked you for.
The world is always coming to an end.
Exactly. And typically, they're the ones going after the cigarette breaks as well.
Yeah.
5-10 times an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Not that, smoking, people who smoke are not necessarily bad or evil or toxic. It's just, I found there's that one woman back in the day. Still, all these years, you still remember certain toxic people.
Yeah.
And I agree. I mean, the toughest thing to do is to slice that toxicity out because, yes, like attracts like, and it becomes comfort.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a relationship, a marriage. If you're in a marriage for years and years, chances are you've dated for years before that. So you've been with this person for a long time. And their negative habits that are keeping you from your success, it's just not helping. You're stuck now forever.
Yeah.
And in a sense, it's self-abuse if you're just sticking around and taking it day after day after day after day.
Mm-hmm.
And something has to happen.
My husband has a horrible habit of when things start going wrong at the job or something like that, he gets into such a negative headspace that everything is just so negative. Even something being placed on the table incorrectly. And it's just, And there's days where and now I have kind of a little funny thing that when he starts getting like that, I just start singing and I start clapping because then he realizes what he's doing.
It's a good cue.
And, I don't let him pull me down into that anymore. Because I got myself into a different headspace. I got myself into a different mentality. So I don't let people do that to me anymore. But dang, it's hard to get out of that. And it's hard to get away from those people. But when you do, because sometimes getting away from friends, it's, it's going through a loss. It truly is. It's
That's a good way to describe it.
You mourn that relationship. But after a period of time when you no longer miss it, you have to think back oh, wow, what was that relationship really doing to me?
Mm-hmm.
So
what kind of advice would you give for individuals out there that are, we'll talk about a relationship in this case here. If somebody is struggling at home, whoever they're with is not encouraging, they obviously are not supportive of you as a person, what do? You
have to put yourself first and foremost, because you're not going to be able to be the best version of you. So you're going to be worthless to everybody else. You'll be worthless to that person you're in the relationship with, worthless to your children, the other family members. You have to put yourself first. And what I started doing first and foremost was I came up with a morning regimen that worked for me.
Okay.
And I'd wake up quite early. You don't have to wake up as early as I did, but I would put together a list of a few things that you could do to help. I would get up and I would do a short meditation, and I used an app. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I used an app that walked me through it. it spoke the whole time, and I just, laid there and I just listened. I had a journal, and I don't write anything bad in journals. I don't get spew out on the journal. I write positive things in there, because then that's going to start my day off positive. What positive feelings I have about my business, what positive feelings I have about my body, what positive feelings I have about blah, 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 whatever. I would get on the treadmill or the bike, go out for a walk, just to get that, that energy pumping. And I always listen to something positive, something motivating. And you can just pull something up on YouTube. And then I throw in a daily devotional, spend some time, in the Bible, things like that. But everybody can, another big one, mantras. I'm sorry. I think mantras are the bomb. They are so important. Anything negative you think about yourself, I am beautiful. If you're going through some situations with friends, I am a great friend. I'm a great wife. I'm a great mother. And I know a lot of people that I've brought them through doing this, they feel uncomfortable doing it.
Oh, yeah?
They feel uncomfortable talking that highly about themselves. And I've read my list, and I've had people look at me like, "Ooh, like you really think that highly of yourself?" No, these are things that I was unsure about myself. Was I a good friend? Was I a good wife? And I would just say them day in and day out. I don't think but I made little lists. I was going to grab one out of my phone, but I made the little list and I laminated them. I have one in my car, on my phone, on my computer, right by my bedside, on my mirror. And you just say it, and you say it, and you say it, and it just becomes who you are.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I used to do the same thing with mantras back when I was playing baseball all the time. When I was playing first base, I would always say, "I'm the greatest first baseman ever.
Yeah.
Nothing gets past me. I'm a human vacuum cleaner." And I truly felt more aligned with the game. And I felt like the game was part of me, and I was part of it.
And the best part is when you can check those off when you become that.
Yes.
One of my big things was I'm going to become a master fibro plasma specialist. And I did.
And look at this face.
And I did. I got my master certification with it and everything. And I was able to check things off on that and change my list.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So it really, you become that list. You become what you want to become.
When you say individuals are uncomfortable with saying that, obviously they are not aligned with that. I mean, they're so far apart from it.
Mm-hmm.
What advice might you have for them to
start a mantra list?
There you go. Perfect.
Talk to somebody that you can actually be honest with and say, tell them those things that you possibly think you have an issue with. If you're not sure if you're a good friend, if you're not sure if you're a good wife, if you're not sure you're good at your job, and just write it down and just start talking it into existence.
You did gratitude journals as well, you said.
Yes? Oh, yes. Yep.
I've always found them very, very beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
Even the toughest times when I'm struggling, I grab a pen, and for at least for a minimum of 30 days, every day when I wake up, I got to write something down. I'm so happy and grateful for, and it has to be something different.
Yeah. You can put it out on social media too.
Could. Yeah. I'm so happy and grateful for all you watching and listening here today.
Mm-hmm. I had a friend that I used to send text messages to every day. Me and her did it together. And each day we would send each other 3 things we were thankful for.
That's a great idea.
Yep.
A wonderful idea.
Just a way to keep each other accountable.
If you have a friend like that, it's a good idea.
If not, call me.
You got Michelle. What else with toxicity do you ever recommend to take it and just live in a toxic world?
That's a hard one, too.
Because I know it's a funeral process, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you have to go through the whole cleansing versus sucking it up.
Yeah, and sometimes you suck things up, not because you have to, but you do it for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you'd be ruining, then you wouldn't just be eliminating the relationship that you're in with that person that you don't want to be aligned with anymore, but you'd be hurting other relationships. So it's a hard one, and it's just one that each individual has to figure out for themselves. I personally got rid of them all, and am living such a different life now. So much happier. But that's something that I think each person has to decide for themselves.
Good stuff. This has been another short mini podcast with Michelle, again, soon to have a nickname, and your mad scientist. If you got any questions, comments, please feel free to leave them in the space below. And we sincerely appreciate you being here. Anything else, Michelle?
Have a great day.
As always, live functionized.